Kids, today we're going to talk about sex scandals. Why? Because sex sells. Sex sells all over the world. Now, in this country, the United States, we are repressed. We are very Victorian in our outlook towards sex, at least publicly. Um, Not as bad as some like Middle Eastern countries and stuff where they're truly repressed and they do have an infantile outlook on sex. And they act out that way. But we're almost as bad, just nearly as bad. And there is a undercurrent here in this country that cannot be denied, like there's an undercurrent in every other country. No matter how repressed they are, people have sex. People have all kinds of sex. They have straight sex, bi sex, gay sex, kinky sex, normal sex. They have sex indoors, outdoors, on the roof, in the air, in the dryer, whatever. They have sex. It's just the nature of people. People like to have sex, both men and women. And you can't stop it. Now, you can try to regulate it. You can try to scare people with religion. But the fact is, they're going to get there getting on somehow on the down low. And the more you force it down, the more you hold it out as a shiny apple of sin, the more people want to take a bite. If you don't turn it into a shiny apple, then it's not so tasty. And then you just have it whenever you want, and then it's no big deal. You don't think about it. But if you say, oh, look at this apple, but you can't have it. The first thing everybody thinks about is the damn apple. So what we're seeing here with like General Petraeus and these admirals and FBI people and all these military folks, we've seen it with presidents, politicians, we've seen it with the clergy, we've seen it anybody with power, we've seen these things happen. Now, there's a reason for this, and I'll give you a very simple reason for this. We have two kinds of people in this world. Okay, well, actually we have four. So first we'll start with male and female. Males go through puberty and become big little boys. So whatever you saw as a little boy or whatever you were as a little boy, you just become a big little boy. And for people that get in relationships with men, all you have to do is figure out what they were like as a little boy, and then you know how long of a leash to put on your dog. Very simple. What was he like as a little boy? He's just a big little boy. Men don't change that much. Women, on the other hand, they're beautiful butterflies when they're young. They scream, they cry, they carry on, they dress up like princesses. Then suddenly they go through puberty. And they go into this cocoon and they come out as this moth with an agenda. I mean, not a moth, but a caterpillar with an agenda. It's kind of the opposite. The agenda can be rather ugly. And what makes it even uglier is that women sometimes are not aware that they have this agenda. So this makes it really scary for those people that are trying to have relationships with a woman who's not even aware she has an agenda or is in denial that she has an agenda. If you can figure out a woman's agenda and figure out how to fulfill the needs of that agenda, you have bliss. But if you don't, all you'll have is misery your entire life. Trust an old man on this. Now, when you get, and particularly this happens with men, because women's agenda is a little bit different. Not that women don't go on the down low and do all kinds of freaky stuff, because they do. I mean, I have gone to a public park and seen two, quote, straight men having gay sex behind one bush, and a couple that are not married to each other, that are married to other people, having sex behind the next bush. So, yeah. People get their freak on all over the world, all the time, regardless if you want to admit it or you don't want to admit it. I've seen it. Now, for years, I was a slut. I was a dumb slut. I gave away lots of good quality sex for free. And one day I wised up and said, I could do this and get paid. and I became a whore. And I was a good whore because I was a well-practiced slut. And I enjoyed that. Now, I've retired from all of that. And now I'm, basically a 90-year-old man with a hysterectomy. But that's beside the point. We get into these sex scandals and we watch this and we're like captivated as a nation. And I cannot understand why. I just don't get it. They've happened before. They're going to happen again. Now, here's usually the scenario. And this is where the mess comes in. First of all, we have to stop fooling ourselves that we're such this pious Victorian nation that doesn't have sex and we have these values that really don't exist. Because they really don't exist. You can keep fooling yourself into thinking they exist, but I'm telling you, they don't exist. Trust an old whore on this one. Trust an old slut on this one. Trust me. I'm into the 4 digits now when it comes to sexual relations. The 4 digits, not the 3 digits, the 4 digits. Yes, I started early. I was very pretentious, very precocious, and stayed that way for a very, very, very long time. Now, for example, in this situation, and in other situations, you have men in power that don't mind, and there's 2 kinds of people that will serve these people in power with these big little boys that suddenly get their ego all blasted because they're the president or the general or they're in charge of something, business, whatever. And here's where they make the mistake. And here's where I hope we can all stop and learn from this. There's 2 different kinds of people that serve that group. Whores like me, that it's a fee for service. You want something, we set a price, we get it done, have a nice day. No more communication necessary, no price gouging, no blackmail, no nothing. It's just fee for service, clean, clear, have a nice day, good luck with y'all. See you next time if you want to come back. No emotional attachment, nothing. That's ideal, as long as you don't get caught. If you don't leave a paper trail or something like that, or make a video like an asshole. Whores work out well that way. The problem is some of these people, these men, and this happens both with males and female whores, they get enamored with the whore. And they want more and more and more and more of the whore. And whores are there for money. And a good whore never gets attached. So, what are they going to do? They're just going to say, come on, if you want to pay, 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 and you just become a good client. And then it becomes so obvious to the rest of the world that you're paying out, tens of thousands of dollars for this whore, that you get yourself in trouble because you've fallen in love with a whore. And you're an idiot. Truly, an idiot. And that's your bad. Now, there's another whole mess. And this is even worse. These are these men that are powerful, that are too proud to pay for whores, but they go find someone they think is weak or someone needy. And what I call the crazies. They go find a crazy. And they go have a relationship with the crazy. And they think in their own mind it's like having a whore. But it's not, because the crazy will get emotionally attached quickly. And then they have a problem, because the crazy will want them. They'll want to break up their relationship, they'll ruin their job, they'll take away their friends, they'll do anything to keep control of this new shiny toy that they've been given. The crazy will obsess on the shiny toy. And it gets really messy. Really, really, really messy. And then the worst thing happens. These guys will suddenly try to pay off the crazy like it's a whore. And crazies don't feel like whores. They feel this emotionally and mentally. They really get into it. So when you try to give them things like, here, honey, have a house and a dog and a station wagon, and please get the hell out of my life, they don't get the message. Where a whore would say, "Gee, thanks for the dog, the house, and the station wagon, and see you next Tuesday if you want, and if I never see you again, thanks for the house." Crazies don't do that. Crazies start setting up the house, waiting for you to come home, and it gets really, 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 really messy. And that's what we're seeing, this like dog and pony show in Washington, D.C., and people are riveted to it. And it's much like Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez the other week. I guess they broke up. Now, they're like 18-year-old kids. They're both famous. They're both like rising stars. And they were writing about these two. They haven't been together that long. And they've been writing about these two like they have been married for 60 years, and this is the breakup of the decade. And this is like never happened in the history of Hollywood that two famous people have ever broken up. And what a tragedy. Seriously? Two kids that dated for a few months. He's still kind of gay and she's still kind of not even awake yet. And they have busy schedules and they never see each other, and this was somehow a shock. Come on, people. Wake up. Grow up. This is so insane. Now, I'm certified crazy. I am nuts. But even I look at this and just bite my nails and go, I can't believe people get into this so much. And they talk about it incessantly. And they've been talking about it on the news. And then they get conspiratorial. This is what freaks me out even more. Sex is not a Democratic or a Republican agenda. It's not a religious thing. It's none of those things. It's people acting out on their desires. And that's all it is. It's not a political conspiracy. It's not a religious conspiracy. It's not anything besides sex. That's what it is. It's sex. It's messy and sometimes it's emotional, but it's just sex. And that's all it is. And these people that sit around on TV every day and try to blow it up into this like stratospheric thing so you'll keep watching their commercials is mind-boggling to me because people fall for it. Just my 2 cents on it. Anyway, have a great day and enjoy some sex.